If your doctor told you that having a small bowl of ice cream every night is fine for your blood sugar after 60, they are missing a piece of the puzzle that could quietly cost you your sharpness, your energy, and even your independence. For decades, we have been taught that a sugar free label on a frozen dessert means it is safe. But as a specialist who has spent over 20 years watching older adults walk into my clinic with sudden blood sugar chaos, I can tell you with certainty that the frozen aisle is one of the most misleading places in the modern grocery store. There is a hidden saboteur hiding in plain sight inside the colorful containers and the cheerful low calorie packaging. And tonight, I am going to show you exactly what it is, what it does to your body while you sleep, and how you can swap it out for five truly safe, satisfying treats that cost less than $1 a serving. Before we go any further, I need you to do something for me and for the thousands of people watching right now who are standing exactly where you are standing. Pause this video, look down at your fingertips, and remember the last number your doctor wrote on that little post-it note from your last blood test. That number is your fasting glucose. Now, in the comments below, type that number, just the number. Do not be embarrassed. Do not be shy. The community here is full of people who are rebuilding their health one small change at a time. And when you share your number, you give someone else the courage to share theirs. Now, let me explain what is actually happening inside your body when that bowl of ice cream touches your tongue at 8 o'clock at night. To understand the danger, you have to understand the factory inside you. Think of your body as a vintage car, a beautiful machine that has been running faithfully for 60, 70, or even 80 years. The engine is still strong, but the fuel lines are clogged, the gaskets are stiffer, and the carburetor does not adjust quite the way it used to. That is exactly what happens to your metabolic engine as the decades pass. Your pancreas, which is the little factory that makes the hormone called insulin, starts to slow down. Insulin is the key that opens the door on every single cell in your body and lets the sugar from your food slide inside to be burned for energy. When you were 30, that key turned smoothly. Now, at 60 plus, the key sticks. It takes longer. The door only opens part way. And that means sugar stays in your bloodstream longer than it should. But here is the part that keeps endocrinologists like me awake at night, and it is the reason I made this video. Around 3 o'clock in the morning, your body performs a quiet, automatic action called a liver dump. Your liver is like a deep storage pantry tucked behind your stomach, and it has been holding a small reserve of sugar all day, releasing tiny amounts to keep your brain humming while you sleep. In a younger body, a small squirt of sugar from the liver tells the pancreas to send a tiny squirt of insulin, and the system stays perfectly balanced. But in a mature body, the liver is heavier, often carrying extra weight from years of processed food and stress, and it releases a much bigger squirt than it used to. The pancreas, already slow on the uptake, cannot keep up. Suddenly, your fasting blood sugar the next morning is higher than it should be, and neither you nor your doctor can figure out why. The truth is, the ice cream you ate at bedtime yesterday triggered the chain of events that led to that high morning number. How does a bowl of frozen dessert cause an overnight sugar raid like that? It comes down to a simple word: fat. Or rather, the wrong kind of fat at the wrong time of night. When you eat a heavy, rich ice cream loaded with saturated fat, your digestive system has to work overtime. That overtime signals your liver to behave erratically. Combined with the natural overnight release of stress hormones, you wake up with a blood sugar number that surprises everyone, including me, until I sit down and review what that patient ate between 8 and 10 o'clock the night before. The good news is that you do not have to give up ice cream entirely. You simply have to change the kind, the time, and the portion. Let me walk you through the 5 ice creams I actually recommend to my own patients, and I will explain the chemistry of each one so thoroughly that you will never look at a freezer case the same way again. Information this specific, broken down this carefully, is usually locked behind a $300 consultation fee, and I am giving it to you here for free because I believe your health should never depend on your wallet. If this kind of detailed, honest, plain language guidance is helping you, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you and I can stay connected every single week. The first ice cream on my list is a brand called Rebel, and the reason it makes the list is simple. It is built with a fiber called inulin instead of sugar. Inulin is a plant fiber that comes from chicory root, and your body treats it almost like a guest who never quite makes it through the front door. Your digestive enzymes cannot break it down, so it slips through your system without raising your blood sugar at all. The ice cream tastes rich, it feels creamy in your mouth, and it has about 1 gram of effective sugar per serving. For an older adult whose metabolic engine is already running rough, that is a gift. The optimal window for eating Rebel is in the early afternoon, between 1 and 4 o'clock, when your body is at its most insulin sensitive for the day. A single half-cup serving costs about $1.20. The doctor's warning here is simple but important. If you are taking any medication that slows your digestion, particularly medications for acid reflux or for blood pressure, the extra fiber can occasionally cause bloating. Start with a small scoop, not a full bowl, and drink a glass of water alongside it. The second ice cream I recommend is Halo Top, but only the vanilla bean flavor. Here is why that specific flavor matters. Many of Halo Top's other flavors, including the chocolate and the birthday cake, hide a sneaky ingredient called maltodextrin, which we will discuss in detail a little later. But the vanilla bean is clean. It uses a touch of real cane sugar, balanced with a generous amount of soluble corn fiber. Soluble corn fiber acts like a sponge in your digestive tract. It slows the absorption of anything sweet, so you get a gentle, low hill on your blood sugar graph instead of a sharp mountain peak. The texture is light and airy, which means a small bowl feels deeply satisfying. A pint costs around $4, and one serving is roughly 50 cents. Eat it in the late morning around 11 o'clock, paired with a handful of walnuts or almonds. The fat from the nuts does something remarkable. It further smooths out the blood sugar response and keeps you feeling full for hours. The warning for Halo Top Vanilla Bean concerns patients on blood thinners like warfarin. Walnuts can interact with that medication, so if you are on a blood thinner, swap the nuts for a few raw pecans instead. The third recommendation is one that surprises almost every patient I speak with. It is a small brand called Arctic Zero, and the flavor you want is the chocolate fudge brownie. Arctic Zero uses whey protein as its base instead of cream. Whey protein is a milk protein that has been studied extensively for its gentle effect on blood sugar. When you eat a dessert built on protein rather than heavy cream, your stomach empties slowly, and the resulting blood sugar curve looks like a long, lazy slope rather than a steep cliff. The brownie bits inside provide a tiny bit of texture satisfaction that older adults often miss when they switch away from traditional ice cream. The cost per serving is about 80 cents, and the optimal window is mid-afternoon, right after a light walk. The movement from your walk uses up any extra sugar in your bloodstream, leaving you in a beautiful place to enjoy the treat without a single spike. The warning for Arctic Zero is for anyone with a dairy sensitivity that has developed in later life. Whey is a milk derivative, and if you have noticed that your belly feels puffy after a glass of milk, choose a plant-based option instead. The fourth ice cream on the list is the one I personally eat, and the one I prescribe most often. It is called Enlightened, and the flavor is the butter pecan. Enlightened has carved out a quiet corner of the freezer aisle by using erythritol as its primary sweetener. Erythritol is a sugar alcohol that comes from fermented corn, and your kidneys filter it out almost completely. About 90% of it never even enters your bloodstream. That means the butter pecan flavor, which tastes astonishingly close to the real thing, will not register as a meaningful blood sugar event at all. The cost per serving is roughly 70 cents. The optimal window for this treat is between 3 and 5 in the afternoon, especially if you have just finished a meal that contained vegetables. The fiber from those veggies sets up a protective environment inside your gut that further dampens any minor sugar response. The doctor's warning here is critical, and I cannot overstate it. Erythritol is generally safe, but very high doses can cause a cooling sensation in the chest or a rumble in the belly. Stick to a single half cup. If you are on medication for blood pressure, particularly ACE inhibitors, and you notice any unusual swelling, stop the erythritol immediately and call your physician. The fifth ice cream is the one that brings the most joy to the older adults in my practice because it feels like a true indulgence. It is a brand called Nix, and the flavor is the Swedish vanilla. Nix uses a clever combination of allulose and a touch of monk fruit. Allulose is one of the most exciting discoveries in nutritional science in the last 20 years. It looks and tastes exactly like sugar, but your body cannot convert it into blood glucose. Your liver simply passes it through. It is, in the simplest possible terms, the closest thing to a free pass that science has ever created. The cost is about 90 cents per serving, which fits comfortably inside any fixed income. The optimal window is right after dinner, between 6:30 and 7:30, when your body is still awake enough to metabolize it gently. The doctor's warning for Nix is specifically for patients who are taking SGLT2 inhibitors, a common class of diabetes medication. SGLT2 inhibitors already change how your kidneys process sugar, and allulose can occasionally amplify that effect. If you are on one of these medications, choose Rebel instead. Now, before we celebrate, I owe you the truth about the other side of the freezer case. If you have ever stood in the frozen aisle and felt proud of yourself for choosing a tub labeled sugar-free or keto-friendly, I need you to listen carefully. If information this honest is helping you see through the marketing fog, share this video with a friend who is tired of feeling tired. Send it to your brother, your sister, your neighbor, anyone who deserves the truth. The first predator on my worst list is Breyer's No Sugar Added Vanilla. The label is beautiful. The carton promises indulgence without guilt, but the back of the package reveals the culprit, the word maltodextrin. Maltodextrin is a white powder made from corn, rice, or potato starch, and the food industry loves it because it is cheaper than sugar and tastes even sweeter. But here is the chemical truth. Your body understands, and your eyes do not. Maltodextrin has a glycemic index, which is the speed at which a food raises your blood sugar, of between 85 and 100. Table sugar's glycemic index is only 65. That means maltodextrin spikes blood sugar faster and higher than the very thing it is supposed to replace. It is the Trojan horse of the modern freezer aisle. It looks innocent, but it carries an army of glucose into your bloodstream within 15 minutes of the first bite. If you have this in your freezer right now, throw it away tonight. Yes, tonight. Do not finish the container. Open the trash can, drop the tub in, and walk away. You are not wasting food. You are protecting your morning number. The second worst offender is a tub many of my patients consider a health food. It is Blue Bunny Sweet Freedom No Sugar Added Chocolate. The carton is decorated with words like reduced calorie and diabetic friendly. But the ingredient list contains sorbitol and maltodextrin stacked side by side. Sorbitol is another sugar alcohol, and while it is gentler than maltodextrin, it is known to cause severe stomach upset in adults over 60, especially when paired with medications that slow gut motility. You'll find yourself bloated, crampy, and miserable, and your blood sugar will still climb because of the maltodextrin hiding just beneath the surface. This product creates the worst possible outcome. It hurts your comfort and it harms your numbers. The third predator on my worst list is Turkey Hill No Sugar Added Premium Vanilla. This one frustrates me most of all because it is sold in many hospital gift shops and senior living communities under the assumption that it is a safe treat for older adults. The first ingredient after cream is maltodextrin. The second is polydextrose, another starch-based filler that mimics the texture of sugar without contributing nutritional value. Throw this one out as well. I want you to feel something right now. I want you to feel permission to be angry at an industry that has spent 50 years selling sugar in disguise. Permission to walk through your kitchen tonight with a flashlight and a trash bag and remove every single container that contains maltodextrin, sorbitol in high amounts, or polydextrose. Read every label. If you see those words, even at the very bottom of the ingredient list, that product does not belong in your home anymore. Which of these so-called healthy foods is sitting in your pantry right now? Be honest in the comments. Tell me what you just discovered when you checked. Your truth might help someone else finally let go. Now, let me tell you about a man who did exactly what I have just described and whose story I have permission to share. His name is Robert, and he is a 72-year-old retired veteran who walked into my office 8 months ago. His fasting blood sugar was sitting at 148, and his doctor was preparing to start him on a second medication. Robert was tired. His feet tingled at night. He woke up 3 times to use the bathroom. He had not enjoyed a dessert in 2 years because he was terrified of what it would do to his numbers. I sat him down and I walked him through exactly the system you have just heard. We replaced his nightly bowl of Breyers with a small serving of Nick's Swedish vanilla at 6:30 in the evening. We swapped his morning bagel, which was secretly driving his afternoon crashes, for steel-cut oats with a tablespoon of chia seeds. We added a 15-minute walk after dinner, a simple habit that acts like a broom for excess sugar in your blood. 14 days later, Robert walked back into my office with a new printed sheet from his glucometer. His fasting blood sugar had dropped from 148 to 121. His feet no longer tingled. He slept through the night for the first time in a year. He told me, with tears in his eyes, that he had forgotten what it felt like to wake up feeling like himself. Robert did not take a single new pill. He changed what was in his freezer, and he changed the time of day he walked. Let me give you the roadmap, your 14-day plan, broken into a simple rhythm you can hold on to for the rest of your life. In the morning, drink a tall glass of water with the juice of half a lemon before anything else touches your lips. Eat a breakfast built around protein and fiber, like 2 eggs and a piece of whole grain toast, or steel-cut oats with cinnamon. Cinnamon is a quiet hero. Studies suggest that even a 1/4 teaspoon a day can help your cells respond to insulin a little more smoothly, like greasing the sticky key I described earlier. At noon, enjoy a small serving of one of the 5 ice creams I have approved, paired with a handful of nuts if your medications allow. Take a 10-minute walk afterward. In the evening, finish your dinner by 7 o'clock and enjoy one more small indulgence of your chosen ice cream between 7:30 and 8 o'clock. Then close the kitchen, brush your teeth, read for 20 minutes in a calm, dim room. Let your body settle into the rhythm of repair that deep sleep provides. If you commit to this rhythm for 14 days, your morning number will tell a new story, and so will your energy, your mood, your clarity. If you are ready to commit, hit the like button on this video right now. That single click trains the algorithm to show this kind of life-changing information to more people who need it, and it tells me personally that you are betting on yourself. Now let me paint a picture of your tomorrow because I want you to feel it before it arrives. Picture yourself waking up 14 days from now. The light is just beginning to slip through the curtain. You swing your legs off the bed and your feet meet the floor without that strange tingling. You walk to the bathroom and you glance at your glucometer on the counter. The number is lower, not perfect perhaps, but lower, and it belongs to you. You walk into the kitchen and you smile as you open the freezer door because the tub you reach for is one you trust completely. You scoop a small serving into a ceramic bowl, sit down at the table, and eat slowly, savoring every spoonful without a single whisper of guilt. After lunch, you take a walk around the block, and the air feels crisp, your legs feel steady, and your mind feels clear. By dinner time, you are still full of energy, and you realize you have not yawned once all afternoon. This is not a fantasy. This is biology, and biology always rewards consistency. A quick medical reminder before we close. Everything I have shared today is general educational information built on decades of clinical practice and peer-reviewed science. It is not a substitute for the unique relationship you share with your own personal physician. Think of me as your partner in health and your local doctor as your pilot. They chart the course, and I help you understand the winds. If you are on prescription medication of any kind, particularly blood thinners, blood pressure pills, or diabetes medications, always clear any new food with your physician before adding it to your daily rhythm. Your safety is the foundation everything else is built on. Stay close. Tomorrow, a new video will appear on your screen, and it will tackle another hidden saboteur in your kitchen, a common pantry staple that almost no one questions, but everyone should. Until then, you have the knowledge, the roadmap, the 5 safe treats, the 3 to throw away, and the story of Robert to remind you what is possible. Go enjoy your evening, walk a little, breathe deeply, and take excellent care of yourself. I will see you very soon.